89.5 WSOU, you're tuning in to Street Patrol. I am joined by Waffle House of 1,000 Corpses, Luke and Brian. First question for you guys, how did you get together?
Been friends for almost 8 years now, and we've been playing music back and forth, we've been jamming. We played music together in a previous project before this, and we decided to just do some heavier stuff, noisier stuff that we've always been jamming on, and actually make a project out of it. So I got a gig. Somebody said, hey, any heavy bands want to play on this set in Philly? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Didn't have any songs at the time. I was like, hey, Brian, we're just going to do this.
You just kind of improv them live.
Yeah. Yeah, we came up with like 3 songs within a short amount of time.
Within like two weeks?
Yeah, like in 2 weeks. And then we played them and stretched them out over what? It was like a 30-minute set.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. Lots of noise, lots of sound. It was pretty great.
Fantastic. Well, you just are hot off the presses with a new EP. Fantastic stuff. Do you want to talk a little more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've just released our first EP, Good Suffering. What was that, like a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, on everywhere, on all the streaming services, Napster, LimeWire, MySpace, Friendster, all that good stuff.
Spotify mainly.
Yeah, Spotify mainly. Yeah, no, you know it. We got it on Spotify, we got it on Bandcamp, Apple Music, all that good stuff. We also got shirts coming soon. We just got some prints made, new logo redesign.
Other big news, too.
Other big news, too, but that's coming much later. Probably in the next 2 weeks or so. We got a cool big announcement. Find it on the Instagram. And I don't know. What else do I got to say right now?
No, I mean, nothing if you don't want to.
Well, I could say about anything right now. How do you feel about blues music?
How do I feel about blues music? I like blues.
Blues music? Yeah, blues music is pretty cool, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's very foundational to everything that we're listening now. Without blues music, I don't think we'd be quite where we were. So
we probably wouldn't even be in this room.
No.
No. We were switching between you guys and WFMU on the way here, and it was really funny because at one point it was power metal, and on the other side was Bo Carter, and it was just like it was amazing how like we went from what a wonderful genre of blues in the Delta and in Chicago, all the way to this crazy crazy. Oh my God! So sorry.
Good. You're good.
Good.
Okay.
So sorry. We went to we go all to this stuff like grindcore and noise and all this wonderful stuff. We even made lowercase music and wild, crazy, not music.
Yeah. So we were talking a little earlier. You told me that your first show actually was mostly improvised. You made like 3 songs in 2 weeks, and you know that's honestly kind of crazy. But I'm wondering, is that your craziest show you've ever played? You got any standout ones?
Well, there was this one part where we were playing in Manhattan and Arlene's Grocery, where it was an extended set. And we had, this is probably, what, our second show at the time?
Yeah, I think it was the second one.
Yeah, so we had to improvise our songs even longer. I think it was almost a 40-minute set, and I was like, oh my God, jeez, what are we doing here? All right, so what did I do? Well, I played a fan. I just played a floor fan, like a Honeywell, whatever fan, and then I put a contact microphone to it, and then ran some some fuzz through it, and by the end of it, you know, when I looked up, I expected to clear out the room.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't. I was actually genuinely surprised. Everybody there was not talking. They were like, what the heck? This guy's playing a fan. And that was pretty wild. That was cool. I had never done that. I came up with that concept like 10 minutes before we left to go to play the show. So I had no idea how it was going to turn out. Other than that, there's probably going to be some crazy theatrics coming soon. Maybe, I don't know, some blood, maybe some broken stuff. Who knows?
Definitely some fake blood or something.
Yeah, definitely some fake blood. That's a given.
I mean, yeah, it's awesome. I love when, I mean, improvising like that on stage is super impressive to even begin with. And like you said, you're playing a fan. Like that's nuts. That's insane. But I think you hear that a lot in your EP too. A lot of experimental stuff, and and that kind of goes in with the theatrics. Like you get people pulled in when you're doing crazy stuff like that up on a stage. That's awesome. What about a favorite venue? Have you played a favorite place?
Well, we just finished a residency of sold-out shows at Madison Square Garden, and that was incredible. Becoming sellouts was always a dream for me, to play arena and non-venue places. So I'm so glad we got to do that. We beat Billy Joel's record recently.
Wow.
For most. Yes, we beat him and his record. So that was cool. But I don't know, Brian, what do you think?
Was it a lot of like the garage venue? Tip of my tongue.
The Garage Gallery?
Gallery.
Yeah, the gallery.
The gallery.
The gallery. The first part of the name is a word that we're not allowed to say on air. But based in Rahway, that's no longer hosting shows there. They're moving the space. But it was a garage, and it was a lot of
garage.
Open garage.
Everybody's just chilling in the parking lot there.
It was a lot of fun. I took my metal board that I used to make noise out of, that I soldered springs onto, that I used to make death coil, and I scraped it all over the concrete of the garage, and it made this horrible, shrieking, ear-piercing sound that was just awesome.
I mean, it's metal. I mean, that's what, literally and figuratively, that is the essence of metal. And like I was already saying, definitely hear that in their brand new EP, Good Suffering. We have the first track of that up next. The song is called Pain Index. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, making that song, what it means to you?
All right, well.
It's about Hellraiser.
Well,
it didn't start that way, maybe, but I feel like that's what it turned into.
Yeah, that was the first song. We wanted to make something as filthy and as heavy as the first two Swans records. At least I did. I wanted to make something that was just really heavy on the downbeat of one, really shrieking, lots of feedback. And I don't know, I just wanted to make something nice.
So the main inspiration of bands while we were on tour is Lavender Sky. There was this band that played.
Oh, yeah.
They played the song, The Compactor? Or was it the Compress?
Compress or something, yeah. And they did this really awesome section.
Yeah. I hear a lot of Godflesh in this first track, and I think that's really, I mean, I love Godflesh, so, but I think everyone out there is going to enjoy it as well. I don't want to delay that any longer, so make sure you stay tuned for their song, Pain Index. 89.5 WSOU. My name is Dramamine, and I'm joined with Luke and Brian of Waffle House of 1,000 Corpses. We're talking about their brand new EP, Good Suffering. How are we doing tonight?
Doing all right.
Feeling waffly.
Feeling waffly.
Yeah, so Waffle House of 1,000 Corpses. Tell me about that name. How'd you get to that? Was it just a random thing, or did it have any special meaning behind it?
Well, as a young kid, I watched House of 1,000 Corpses, the Rob Zombie movie, and eventually I was in a band, and I was like, hey, Luke, have you ever seen this movie? It's really good, in a weird way.
Yeah, so, well, that part of it comes from that, yeah. It's a portmanteau of, obviously, Waffle House and House of 1,000 Corpses. That, it was in a song list / band list / album name list idea that I had on my phone. And it was about like 15, 20 band name ideas long. And when we had that gig coming up, I was like, oh my God, we need to come up with a name. So we gave Brian like the whole list, like, pick top 3. Well, Waffle House was in it. And, right, we just picked that. It was either that or Texas Roadhouse Massacre.
Yeah, there are a few other really good ones in there.
Roadhouse Massacre.
But I think we made the right choice.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty iconic, actually. I mean, when Bree was first telling me about you guys, I was like, wow, that's an awesome name. That's just fantastic. You know, a lot of times the name is a huge part of your band's identity too. So I love it. Love it.
Yeah, we got a lot of horror movie influence, a lot of slasher influence. The record covers from Nightmare on Elm Street. And then we got the Hellraiser samples.
Yeah, Luke's been getting a lot of DVDs of just horror movies.
Yeah, I like
just,
DVDs from
all
thrift shops.
October, just watching a bunch of early 2000s horror movies, especially.
Yeah, like really full of camp, like all that stuff. The campier, the cornier, the better.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that. I watch a lot of Godzilla movies, and the campier they are, the better they are always. And it goes same for horror movies too. I've dabbled a little bit, but yeah, no, that's awesome. So talking about influences, what about music influences? Any sort of larger band names, local band names that kind of really added to your sound or influenced your sound?
Well, King Gizzard's always been a really big influence on a lot of my experimental music. When it comes to microtones, I took frets and I put frets in between the frets on my guitar to get extra dissonance, right? Mm-hmm. Because I really like their microtonal stuff, and I thought I could use that, but make it doomier, make it sludgier, make it noisier, make it more dissonant. Not like King Giz, but it still has that weird tritone sound to it, and that really weird, I don't know, just uneven feeling to it. It doesn't feel whole, it feels slightly uneven. People would think, is that out of tune? No, man, it just feels uneven.
Yeah, it gives you like a little bit of anxiety. It's just you're right on the edge or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the note, but it's not quite the note. It's like, did that guy tune it all the way? No, it's toned. It's tuned all the way. But yeah, also big influences in Swans. A lot of Sonic Youth, the earlier Sonic Youth, their no wave stuff.
Dystopia, Electric Wizard.
Oh yeah, a lot of Dystopia, a lot of Electric Wizard, early Sabbath.
Sabbath, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all those stoner metal bands.
You got lots like Full of Hell, that noisecore stuff.
Yeah, awesome. So, sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, so I hear so many things like, coming together on this EP, called Good Suffering, by the way. So when you're talking about causing that anxiety, I think that's a good thing when your EP is called Good Suffering. But when you were explaining to the microtonal stuff off air too, and it was kind of like, listening it to the first time, I definitely heard, it's not, I don't want to say it's not normal. It's not normal in the best ways. But I really do think it works. It's so complex, and it sounds great. We actually have another one of your songs off the EP, Mother Firefly, up next. You want to talk about that real quick?
Well, so the name comes from Waffle House of 1,000 Corpses. Karen Black, who plays Mother Firefly, really good actress. I think she died 3 years ago, but yeah, that was the main inspiration. I was like, Luke, we got to name it this because it's an awesome name.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta, I guess, keep the theme, but I mean, we aren't a House of 1,000 Corpse themed band. We're not a Waffle House themed band.
No, I feel like we're just throwing like horror movie
references
names at the wall and camp at the wall, but we're like to drape the music with or something.
Yeah, this is a song that we put together a bunch of jams, a lot of different motifs and phrases that we had noodled together. When we had improv this live, it was like 15 minutes long when we would do it, almost 10 to 15 minutes long. And then we just figured out all the different motifs and all the different phrases and kind of just strung them together into one song. And then we kind of figured them out through live shows. And then we figured out the studio version, and then, which is also kind of semi-improv. And we kind of just stuck with it. We were like, all right, sounds pretty cool, man. And then I added vocals at like the very end. None of this stuff had vocals until the last month before we recorded.
Yeah, we were
into
the studio figuring out some stuff.
Yeah,
even those early improv sets you were doing didn't have any vocals. It was just you two jamming.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, you heard it here first. Oh, you were about to hear it here first. Waffle House of 1,000 Corpses with their song Mother Firefly. So, just a two-piece. How is, managing that? It comes few and far in between in a lot of stuff, especially when you're doing crazy stuff like you are with noise and being... I'm sorry, what's that word? The frets in between the frets?
Microtones.
Microtonal. But just talk a little bit about that.
Well, luckily we've have this chemistry between us 'cause we've been best friends for years, and we've always been jamming out on ridiculous stuff. We make up songs, switch instruments, and have fun with it, and we just let it go, and we just play, and we just have fun with it.
You would fall into groove eventually, and then we just kind of naturally have this. You just fall into that groove. I think having that chemistry.
Awesome. Well, yeah, so we are talking about, how complex your music is, and I know you're very excited to talk about equipment. What type of equipment are you using to make these awesome songs?
Well, the majority of it is, like I said, it's a microtonal guitar, but so what I did was I took this old Teisco guitar from the 60s that I got for I think $50 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I need a guitar that I can ruin to kind of just put frets on. So I looked up so many different ways to put frets on it. So I tried different things, toothpicks, little frets that aren't frets, but then I settled on putting guitar strings in between them. So that allows enough space to be in between the strings and the neck. Other than that, we're just playing into a Fender Junior Blues Deluxe, into a 90s Fender Red knob amp, really loud, really heavy in as far as weight goes, and into a bunch of pedals. Major noisemaker for me is the Fuzz Factory. Gotta love the stab noise pedal, the noise knob on that. Yeah, no, it's great. And lots of fuzz, big muff. And then we got contact mics, which for those that don't know what a contact mic who are listening, is just a little microphone that doesn't pick up audio but picks up vibrations. So I'm picking up the vibrations of this little piece of sheet metal where I soldered a bunch of springs onto it to create a bunch of noise.
Or the vibrations of a fan.
Or the vibrations of a fan, as we talked about before. Or sometimes, like I like to do live, is I'll take the chain necklace I have off my neck and I'll put it onto the contact mic and shake it around. Shake it around. And it gets this really nice, really scary kind of chain sound, and I'll whip it on the floor, and then, I don't know, maybe I'll just roll on the floor for theatric effect. And, it's great. It's a lot of fun. And then I get really into it, and sometimes I feel like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Get over here.
Get over here. Brian, what about you? What are you playing into?
Trash drums.
Trash drums.
Mainly.
Not really. They're
not trash drums. All right. They're good.
They're drums that got off Facebook Marketplace.
They do the job.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, so we have another one of your tracks up next off your brand new EP, Good Suffering. Lockjaw. Do you want to talk about that one real quick?
It's in 3/4. I gave away the secret. No.
Yeah, no. We were like, well, I kind of want to play a song in 3/4. So, Brian, give me something in 3/4. He gave me something in 3/4, and then I just kind of noodled around, found something.
It's my favorite song from the EP.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's the one I've listened to the most, really.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that song because originally when we had it, it was my least favorite because it felt like it didn't have enough structure. It didn't feel like it belonged, and it just didn't feel right. But then we added the vocals. I had the vocals. We recorded it live in the studio. No click track, no none of that. And then we overdubbed vocals, recorded vocals next. And then I had to just Brian and I came up with the lyrics on the spot. We just passed iPhone notes around. He was like, hey, Brian, you write a line. I write a line. And then just kind of went from there, and then I just kind of ad-libbed the vocals. And that was a lot of fun.
Great. Well, let's listen to it right here, right now. We got their song Lockjaw here on Street Patrol, your home for the best in local metal. 89.5 WSOU. Keep it locked. Keep it loaded. My name is Dramamine. You're tuning in to Street Patrol, and I have with me, so very luckily, Luke and Brian from Waffle House of 1,000 Corpses. How we doing?
You know what's up.
Good.
There we go. Well, we are winding down the night. Unfortunately, our time together is coming to a close. We have one last track off of your EP to play, and then we'll go from there. But before that, I have a couple of more questions to ask you. First off, we're kind of making this a mainstay on our interviews. Metallica or Megadeth? You gotta choose one. Or none, honestly. We've had a few people.
Yeah, I guess Metallica.
I'll go with Metallica on that one.
Okay.
Dave Mustaine is not, is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Dave Mustaine, yeah.
Yeah, he's not aged very well.
Talking about this last interview, actually, but there's one of my favorite videos is Lane Staley from Alice in Chains making fun of Dave Mustaine's singing voice, and it's awesome.
Oh, yes.
But honestly, like, that's a hard decision for a lot of people. So I always love to hear what our local bands have to say about that as well. Next question, I guess. Can you give us any hints on what's next for Waffle House of 1,000 Corpses?
Well, Capitol Records has told us not to talk about our upcoming multi-million-dollar deal. Also, same thing with EMI, Universal Music Publishing. We're still waiting on a cease and desist letter from Waffle House Incorporated and Rob Zombie. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But anything big? Brian, what do you think? What do we got cooking?
I mean, I think...
Besides the big news that's coming in like 2 weeks.
Besides the big... I think things are coming. I don't know, like, things are forming on the horizon for sure.
They're just molding. I don't know, man. It's falling into place.
We got some jams in us.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear you're not not a one EP and done.
Oh yeah, no, we're just gonna break up. We're gonna play a couple shows, break up, and then reform later on, and then everybody's gonna be like, who?
The 20-year reunion tour. So we have your song up next, Mortal Dread. Do you want to talk about that one real quick?
All right. Well, they came up just like the other ones, improvised on a jam, and I just wanted to just have a drone of F sharp going, and just 3 notes. I've always been a big fan of Velvet Underground. Stupid simple, keep it simple. I've always loved that sound to it. So I wanted just 3 notes.
It's really fun to play live.
It's really fun because I just wanted to keep 3 notes but have a lot of dynamics to it, and just have a lot of changing, lots of layers. The lyrics itself are rather dark. That won't go into right now on this college radio station air for FCC reasons. But it's a good one. I really like it. It's more of that post-rock sound, that later Swan sound that I love, that drone, that established drone and growing of dynamics. Call it crescendo core if you want, but it's not because it's not a 30-minute song. But, I really like it. It's a lot different from our other stuff, but it maybe more songs like that. I don't know, man. It was fun. It's the oddball out of the other songs.
It's a mystery. I don't even know what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I don't even know what we're doing.
That's going to be the last track off your brand new EP, Good Suffering. If you have been tuning in so far, you've heard some great tracks from it. If you haven't, go check it out. Why not? So finally, going to roll out the red carpet for you. Whatever you want to say, plug any shows, Instagrams, merch, whatever you want to do. Now is your time.
All right. You've heard it first, everybody. December 14th, we are at the Meat Locker in Montclair. December 17th, we are at the Oasis in Fork River, New Jersey. And then we've got some shows lined up for you in January and some in February soon. You can find us on Instagram at Waffle House of 1,000 Corpses with the numbers 1000. You can find us on Bandcamp. Not Facebook, not MySpace, but you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your music. Unfortunately, not at record stores, but got anything else, Brian?
I'll just self-plug real quick.
Oh, yeah, Brian,
I make
you shout out your
electronic
stuff.
music as Defiled Circuit, so you can find me on Instagram, Bandcamp. I'm going to add stuff on Spotify. I released an album, like, a week ago or something, 2 weeks, probably around when we released the EP, too. Like, before we released the EP.
Yeah, it's a real good one. If you like Machine Girl and you like drum and bass, you like jungle, you like all that pretty stuff.
It's just stuff I've been making by myself for a while now, and I've liked where I've gone with it, so if you're a little interested, give me a listen.
Cool. Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much for coming out here. It was awesome talking to you.
Yeah.
Awesome listening to your new EP as well.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah, so check out Waffle House of 1,000 Corpses, their new EP, Good Suffering, and then, I'll leave you off with the last song, Mortal Dread. Keep it locked. Enjoy the music.